Donald Trump turned transactional, turned tactical, turned mercurial, and change minute by minute, hour by hour, become like a kaleidoscope, forever shifting, forever changing his tune. You see, if you understand the other countries' grand strategic design, the overall strategy, the American governments used to take out a strategy, national security strategy paper in every administration that laid out what it planned to do and what were its priorities, etc., and it helped the rest of the world to cope or to either align itself or to protect itself from the consequence of such politics. But the simple fact is that how can you strategize in the long term if Donald Trump is going to turn everything topsy-turvy? Everything will be on a minute by minute mood, whim basis, whimsical basis. That would breed international anarchy at the time of a multipolar order. And this instability, this lack of long-term planning, strategic planning, etc., would be very disruptive of the global order. Extremely disruptive. It could lead to massive long-term conflicts. Whatever it is, we found Donald Trump almost pushing India into the Russia-India-China triangle. Pushing, literally kicking India that side, because 25% tariffs on India, he singled out India for humiliation. 25% tariffs, 25% more, 50% tariffs now because you are buying oil and gas and you are buying weapons from Russia. For God's sake, give us a break, because we get them cheap. They are useful for our economy. You are also buying uranium and rare earths from Russia. Does that not help the Russian war chest against Ukraine? Only Indian money helps it. I mean, there were hypocrisy galore. So when we found all this happening, India had no option but to realize the score, to concede what is reality. We would like to be friends with America. That's a given. Who would? But if there is such a price to pay in terms of our sovereignty, in terms of our strategic autonomy, in terms of India now once again a country of 1.4 billion people becoming a colony of the United States, I don't think that will quite happen. And it is rather unrealistic of Donald Trump to imagine that that will happen in the 21st century, that the 21st century will go back to the 18th century of colonial conquest. That's not happening any longer. So India has made an outreach to Russia. The Indian National Security Advisor is now presently in Moscow, and he has given us the welcome news that in this month, maximum next month, September, President Putin will be visiting New Delhi for the annual summit dialogue. Before that, President Putin, Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping will be meeting in Beijing for the Shanghai SCO summit. There will be one-to-one meetings between the Indian PM and the Russian President. So things are quite clear. We can also, pay back your compliments if you try and humiliate us, if you try and push us, if you try and ram things down our throats, ask us to disregard our national self-interest and serve the interest of the United States of America. Well, the simple fact is that India is not as yet the 51st state of the United States, and I don't think that is going to happen in the next million years. So why push us? Why push India? You pushed India, this is the comeback. This visit by the National Security Advisor will be followed up by the visit of the Indian Foreign Minister. What Donald Trump has done, he's managed to push Russia into the Russia-India-China triangle. He's managed to make it a reality which may not have happened otherwise. And I'm sure future generations of American geostrategic pundits will ask, who lost India? Donald Trump did. Donald Trump did. That's a fact. Now, the simple fact is, what are we going to discuss? What is likely to happen when President Putin comes to India? I for one think that a deal for buying about 2, maximum 3 squadrons of Su-57s, manufacturing them in India under transfer of technology, sharing of source codes, that is the biggest deal that will come through, and that will be the biggest riposte to the bullying of Donald Trump. He's invited it himself. He's pushed us in a corner, and when pushed into a corner, countries react. Needlessly pushed India into a corner, needlessly cozied up to a defunct country like Pakistan that can't give 3 square meals a day, 2 square meals a day to its citizens. You want to bring that up as the alternative to India? Well, you are welcome. You are welcome. Your protege state may not exist for very long. India will. India will. So help us God. So, one is the Su-57 deal for stealth 5th generation fighters. The simple fact is China is going to supply at 50% cost about 2 squadrons worth of J-35 fighters to Pakistan. Pakistani pilots are already under training. So, we are building our AMCA, damn good, but that is going to take 10 years to be part of our squadrons. In the interim, we need an interim solution, which is Su-57. It most certainly not is the F-35, and now with this 25% tariff slap, 50% tariff, I think you can just about forget it, whatever hopes that America had of striking that kind of a deal. So, that is number one. India is to get 2 more regiments of the S-400 missile. They did a fantastic job in Operation Sindoor. I mean, they proved to be the money's worth. So, there are 2 more balance. I am sure we will get that. America is also offering to us the S-500. They are offering that we could even join in the production of the S-500. So, we are making our khusha, but I am sure 1 or 2 squadrons of the S-500 also may do us good. We could even say that instead of the S-400 2 squadrons, give us the S-500s, balance 2 squadrons or more, because that would make the Indian integrated air defense invincible. We could stop even a nuclear attack against India if we have this kind of an air defense shield. India and Russia could negotiate about the Arctic trade. The Arctic Ocean has melted, the polar ice caps are melting, and that opens up new avenues of trade and access. So, India and Russia could cooperate majorly in that. Rupee-ruble parity is a big problem that, as we have been facing continually, it is often talked of, but no permanent solution has been found. So, we could go in for digital rubles, digital rupees, and that may perhaps make the transactions much easier and much faster. We could go in for such a digital currency for intra-BRICS trade. And there are more than 24 countries which are now in BRICS, and many more are wanting to join. And by the way, the economy of the BRICS, the GDP of the BRICS countries, sum total is more than that of the G7, right. So, if Donald Trump wants to say that BRICS is his new prime enemy, well, then BRICS includes an I called India, and India will then have to take care of its own, protect its own national sovereign interests. What else could be the outcome? We could go in for long-term energy deals, like Russia has signed with Iran, like Russia has signed with China. China and Russia have signed long-term energy deal. That takes advantage of the current low prices and fixes them in perpetuity for decades. That would be a great help, because we are not going to buy energy from America, which is 5 times the distance, almost 2 to 3 times the cost. So, I mean, why do we have to do that? To deliberately give a knock to our economy just to please America, and America on the contrary imposing 50% tariffs against India. I think this game has now reached dead end. You pushed us into a corner, and the blame for who lost India will entirely be in the camp of Donald Trump, unless even at this stage his geopolitical pundits realize the long-term mistake that they are making in pushing India, China, Russia together. It would be very antithetical to American geopolitical interest. Mercantilism be damned. Geopolitics will prevail in the end. And this new order of mercantilism based on Donald Trump tariffs and trade wars with the rest of the world, which has hurt mostly the American allies and friends. Canada, Mexico, Europe, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, they've all been adversely impacted by Donald Trump's mercurial brand of trade, tariffs and policies. How long this will last, how long this will take to stabilize, God only knows. But in the interim, the entire basis of stability in the international order has been severely undermined. People need to think long term. Nations can't work on a minute to minute change of directions. You see, going all 360 degrees of the compass, north now, south now, northwest now, southwest now, etc., it doesn't work. It cannot work. And I think we might as well stabilize and stick to long-term direction. That is the job of the top management. I don't think the top management in all nation states should get involved in minute-to-minute minutiae, minute-to-minute rule by Truth Social posts, Twitters, tweets. I think we may have to look in for a more stable order of working international relations. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.